Zweig Group invites all AEC industry leaders to the 2024 AEC Small Business and Entrepreneurship Forum, the premier event for small firms in the AEC sector. Experience innovative strategies and insights on May 21st, crafted by Zweig Group's industry experts. Engage in keynotes and interactive sessions focused on recruitment, retention, and business growth. Join Zweig Group for this unique networking opportunity and take your business to new heights. Secure your spot today and be part of the AEC industry's future. Visit zweiggroup.com for more information. The Zweig Group team looks forward to welcoming you.
Welcome to the Zweig Letter Podcast, putting architectural, engineering, planning, and environmental consulting advice and guidance in your ear. Zweig Group's team of experts have spent more than 3 decades elevating the industry by helping AEP and environmental consulting firms thrive. And these podcasts deliver invaluable management, industry, client, marketing, and HR advice directly to you, free of charge. The Zweig Letter Podcasts, elevating the design industry one episode at a time.
Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of the Zweig Letter Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and I'm excited to be with you as always. I can't believe how many episodes we've done. More than 220 episodes of the Zweig Letter. We gotta, if you're out there and you aren't driving, just give us a quick golf clap, because I think that's kind of cool that we've done so many episodes. And, it's been several years now, but I love the fact that we're able to bring so many amazing people on this podcast. As I've said before over and over again, it started out with me just having Mark Zweig read Zweig Letter articles, and now we have evolved to having flesh and blood visitors and guests of the podcast come on. We've had people travel to our studios, wherever those may be, and to share and tell their stories on the podcast. And so I'm always excited about, what is next for the Zweig Letter Podcast. And of course, as always, I want to encourage those that are listening to this to make sure you're subscribed to the Zweig Letter. It's one of the oldest and longest running newsletters in the AEC space. It started in 1992 and it's continuing to be out there, which this is 31 years now. So that's a long time. And so I'm excited because I have a guest in front of me. Most of you know that a lot of times when I do these interviews, they are typically remote, but I am sitting in front of the wonderful Anna Finley, who is Director of Operations at Zweig Group. And Anna and I go way back. I was just remarking to her that I remember the day that she was interviewed for a position at Zweig Group. And now look where we are. And she's basically running the show. And so it's so exciting to have you on the podcast today. It's been a long time coming.
Thank you so much, Randy. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So Anna, why don't you just really quickly, for the uninitiated, for people that have not called into Zweig's office and have not heard your wonderful voice, just tell our audience a little bit about Anna Finley and who you are.
Well, I started out in client relations with Zweig Group, and so I was answering phones and our customer inquiry inbox and assisting with some accounting here and there. So this is my going on my 7th year at Zweig Group, so things have quite evolved since my first 2017 initiation there.
That's very cool. And so, could you have imagined that this is where you would be at this point 7 years later?
I don't think so, Randy. No, I don't. I think that I fell in love with Zweig Group, I continue to fall more and more in love with it. We have great people. Some came and gone, and it continues to
evolve.
Totally evolve. And, and in its own right, get better and better.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Well, I think, you represent a new generation of leadership at the company. Like I said, we were talking earlier and I was saying, man, I've had 2 stints at Zweig Group, and so did people like Mark and others that worked there at the beginning and then also worked there in its current form at some point. And I think it's interesting to see the evolution of a company. And I don't do public math that often, but I want to say, Mark Zweig started the company in 1988. It's now 2023. The company is still going strong, currently under the guidance of the great Chad Kleinens. And Chad is doing his thing on a daily basis. That man is constantly on a plane going somewhere to see some client. And that's the kind of high-level touch and quality service and advisory that Zweig offers any client that comes through the doors. And, I say that in jest because certainly I always joke with Chad that he's always on the road, but there's a reason for that. And there are so many companies out there that need Zweig's help and need the guidance and need the distillation of information that this company has processed and put out in 35 plus years.
Agreed. And then, to talk about Chad and his, going and visiting these clients, it is really what we've all aspired to be and kind of woven into our culture is this white glove service for our clients.
Right.
Which we try to weave that not only within our clients, but in our culture, our employee culture as well, where it is, it's really important. It's really important to offer our clients, build not only information and guidance for them, but also a
safe space.
It is. And loyalty and trust.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm always amazed at the companies that have worked with Zweig for years, companies that have been around since the 90s and even before that, and the crazy thing was that when I left Zweig in 2000, probably like sometime after 9/11. So actually 2002. And then I came back in 2013. So that's 11 years. It's a long time. And the thing that I was really amazed by was that there were so many clients that were there when I was there in 2000, 2001 that were still there in 2013 and beyond. And it's crazy because even companies that I had worked with in the 90s are still working with Zweig Group to this day.
They are.
That's a testament to the company.
It is. It's really the client experience that we do offer to our clients, and not just, our advisory services, whether it be a media advertiser or someone that calls in and has a question about a particular report that we publish, anything, or it's even, a registration to our event or conference. It starts from the very beginning, and that client experience to be followed without. Yeah. And it does. It's a huge return on investment because those clients continue to come back.
Yeah, they really do. And I think it's exciting to see. And it honestly doesn't get old because, even when I went to last year's Elevate conference and just ran into some new people that I had never known before and other folks that I have known
exactly.
For a couple of decades. And it's like, wow, this is really great. And I think it typifies the design industry, right? Because design professionals are a unique bunch. Those of you that are listening to this, if you are an engineer or an architect or a planner or you play one on TV, you know what I'm talking about. You guys are a unique lot. You went to school for a good period of time. You practiced your craft before you actually even got out into the world to actually do what you do on a regular basis. And it is, as I always tell people, those of you that are responsible for the built environment, all of us in civilization have you to thank for the fact that we have smooth roads to drive over, that we have safe buildings to inhabit, that we are able to just see the complete growth of infrastructure building and what that means to all of the economies of the world. And all of that is a direct relationship to design professionals that go out and do what they do on a regular basis.
It is. Yeah. Pretty cool.
It is very cool. Mm-hmm. It's very cool. So, all right. Well, we're not going to have we could go all day with the platitudes of why design professionals are so special. But what I wanted to talk about today is obviously, Anna, you've seen several iterations of Zweig Group, even in your 7 years being here. You're currently director of operations, and you've also been the recipient of an award that Zweig puts out. So for instance, so all of you guys that are listening to this that have participated in our formerly what was formerly called Hot Firm, now it's called Elevate AEC. There are several awards that Zweig puts out every year that firms are able to put themselves up for consideration. Best firm to work for. I don't know if you want to add any of the other awards that
marketing excellence,
marketing and excellence,
the Hot Firm,
of course. And all of these awards, I think, are important because it acknowledges the amount of work and effort that goes into doing what you do on a regular basis. You being the listener that has a design firm or that works at a design firm, and the time and effort that you put in, those long hours, those weekends, those nights. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And sometimes you wonder if anybody is paying attention. But, Zweig Group has been paying attention for many years. And one of the ways that they've done that is through their award program, because I think it's good to celebrate success. It's good to celebrate businesses and organizations that have operated at a high level of excellence for a sustained period of time. And that is a concept that is not unfamiliar to you, Anna, because you've been the Grace is Our Way winner, I think, within Zweig Group for 3 years in a row. And I don't know, 4, I'm sorry. Look, she's correcting me.
I'm not counting, Randy.
She put up the 4. But I mean, the bottom line is that you embody this idea that, hey, we're all here with a job to do, and we need to do it to the best of our ability. I'd love for you just to kind of explain to those that are on the outside of the company, what is the Grace is Our Way Award, and why is it so significant? Why are you so proud of being able to say that I've won this award 4 times?
It's one of our core values at Zweig Group. So we have Grace is Our Way, remastering is our mantra, and hustle is our method. Grace is Our Way, it's you celebrate often, which we do at Zweig Group. We celebrate our wins and we celebrate our clients. We remain open as a part of that award, and to be politely persistent. To me, it's kindness goes a long way.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
And it's free, Randy. It is,
Yeah.
And I think it is. It's really important. It's important to interact with your clients in that manner, and it's important to interact with your colleagues in that manner. And you have somebody that no matter really what industry you're in. It is to make your clients feel important. It's to make others feel important. It is to, it's relationship building, and to do it with grace. And I don't think anyone ever said, don't offer grace.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's not a word that's actually used a lot.
It's not.
In corporate settings.
It's not.
But you have to have some level of grace in the ability to deflect certain things that come your way and not necessarily lose your you-know-what if things don't go
That's right.
I mean, it is not just because you run into a problem or somebody makes a huge mistake. That is not an open invitation for you to just, go ballistic.
It's not. It's conflict mitigation, really, whenever,
Right.
if folks can calm, cool demeanor too, and in a professional setting, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
It does.
And I'm sure you've seen a lot. I mean, it's certainly in this space and especially during the pandemic, right? Now we're on the other side of the pandemic, but for 3 years, you were having to juggle a lot of challenges that were going on, and even internal challenges as well as external, right? Making sure your clients had what they need and how are they getting along, even with all of the challenges that everybody was facing from an organizational standpoint to just run their business
That's
efficiently.
Exactly right. I mean, it was a total shift. You shift to in office, and then, as everyone remote, and, that's giving up an office space and figuring out, how do we make mobile seats on our office phones? I mean, a whole variety of shifting. And I think we've shifted pretty well.
Yeah.
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So what is it like as director of operations managing, you've got now people are working more remotely. You've got an office down in Dallas as well as the office in Fayetteville. Shout out to the folks in Dallas. But what is it like, kind of overseeing that and, helping Chad and the rest of the leadership team kind of navigate those waters?
It is. It's open communication. If it's in Dallas or here in Fayetteville, it is always really making sure our people are in good shape and are set up for success and have everything that they need, whether, and I'm not tangible things, but
Right.
set up for success and making sure that you go and you keep an open dialogue with your people and visit, interacting. We are still on both Dallas and Fayetteville offices are on a hybrid model where you come and go as you please to the office, and it's keeping your people happy.
Yeah.
It is. It's listening and keeping them happy.
Yeah. That's amazing because, there was a time when that would have been heresy at Zweig.
That's how, it was.
I mean, and it still is at some places, but that was like an open hybrid model of work. But, I know for a fact that you guys really haven't missed a beat, even with, the way that the model is now. And I think it's interesting, right, that when you can do kind of a postmortem on things and go back and diagnose and see, wow, why did it work this way when we thought if that situation or if the fact that most of our employees would be outside of the office, outside of the eye shot of the leadership of the company, that nobody would get any work done.
That's right.
And that we would flounder as a company. But the reality has been that has not been the case.
It's not. Well, it's autonomy. Here at Zweig Group, I do feel like each of us have to work on a level of autonomy where we have great people.
Yeah.
We do that, that work relentlessly and tirelessly, and they get their jobs done and then some, and they do it with grace.
Yeah. I think that's important. And, for a lot of people, as I don't know how this will come across, but, the pandemic was almost a blessing in disguise from an organizational standpoint, because it forced us to do some things that we didn't traditionally like to do in this industry, in this space. And it also forced us to maybe level up our level of communication, if that is a thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
where it's like all of a
was.
sudden, I remember talking to people like Ozzie Nelson, and he was telling me from Nelson Group, and he was telling me that, he was sending out a video every week, kind of like a fireside chat video to just let people know, hey, this is where we are. This is what's going on. And not only did it strengthen his communication muscle, but it also engendered a lot of support from the rest of the staff.
That's exactly.
I heard the same thing from Chris Huckabee with Huckabee. He said the same thing, that, all of a sudden he had to totally transform how he communicated with his staff.
That's exactly. That's what we started. We started notes from the bunker.
Right. You laugh now, right?
It wasn't too funny at the time,
no,
but it was.
It was not.
But that was for an open dialogue to talk about our wins and talk about our successes for the week and our troubles and tribulations that we've had. It's just open up and a different form of communication.
Yeah. I remember even some of the Zoom meetings where folks just got together.
Yes.
It was like, it's 5:00 somewhere. Let's pop a beer or get a drink and just have a conversation. So,
we had Christmas parties via Zoom the first,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's crazy. You do what you have to do.
You do.
To kind of keep your sanity and to kind of keep things afloat. And certainly you found some real success in doing that. What has been one of your personal biggest takeaways from being part of the Graces Our Way award, and how it's impacted what you do, Anna Finley, what you do on a daily basis?
It makes you feel good. When you are kind to people and you offer them grace, even when, you never know who you're interacting on the other side of an email or what kind of day they've had or what's going on with them, So if we could all just be just a little, just show one another just a touch more grace, even if you're at the gas station or the grocery store, it doesn't matter, Randy.
Yeah.
It does not matter. It's show people grace. It makes a difference. It makes people feel good. It makes you feel good.
It does. And I think, the challenge is that for some people, people might think, oh, well, that's such a corny concept. I don't know. Grace, what is that? Right. And again, I think in our society, right, I'm not even going to say our country, our society, we have almost become desensitized into things, into situations to where we don't even remark with kindness about something that somebody might be going through.
Well, it fosters open and honest communication as well.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
When you feel comfortable when someone, is offering you grace or vice versa, you feel comfortable to be a little vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not corny. It's not cheesy.
Right.
It's not.
No, and you're absolutely right. I mean, again, like I said, some people feel like, oh, well, you're taking an idea and something that's used in different contexts and applying it to the workplace. But I can't think of any other place where you should apply it except for the workplace.
I agree.
Given that you work with people, this is the time that you spend with people more than you do with the folks at home.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm shut up in my office 8-9 hours a day with little interaction with my kids.
Right.
Yeah. So
but you talk to your coworkers and your colleagues.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. I mean, and that makes a big difference. And so
it does.
You've got to be able to transfer those interactions and those experiences and just have something positive to show for it.
It does. Well, it does. It promotes, positive relationships and effective communication, even emotional well-being, Randy, honestly.
And we don't like to talk about that kind of stuff too loosely. It's
we don't. Right.
It makes me uncomfortable to talk about that. I'm okay, you're okay. But It's like, no, maybe you're not okay.
That's exactly.
And I'm probably not okay either. And it's okay to
not be okay.
That with
That's
each
right.
other.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the challenge, right? And I always think about that. And especially when I'm interacting, like for guys, right? Guys are, you don't want to wear your emotions on your sleeve. And, I can't Brene Brown you, right? If I can use Brene Brown as a verb, I can't Brene Brown you to death because then it's going to be uncool, right? No, You're not going to want to talk to me because it's like, oh, that dude, he's just too in touch with his feelings. But I actually think that it's an okay place to be.
We're human.
Yeah, we are human.
We're human.
And it's, people that typically are not in touch with their feelings struggle, especially from a mental health perspective.
It is. And that it's not your personal life, but it also affects most definitely your professional life.
Yes.
It does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah. And, it's funny because I've talked to some people that have had some challenges at work. Maybe they weren't on their game. I'm using air quotes now, and realized that they needed to go see a therapist to get some guidance and to talk through some things and then get back on the horse again. Right.
That's
if I can
right.
use that
That's
analogy.
Exactly.
And so sometimes we need to check in with somebody that can help us out through that process. I mean, we are certainly not that, but at least we can have this conversation and get you to think about that and recognize when you might need some professional help, when you might need to check in with somebody and have a safe space conversation about how you feel about things.
That's exactly. Yes.
It's important.
It's a bit of a bonding experience as well in the workplace. Yeah. It's not off limits.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be off limits.
It should not.
No.
It
should be
not.
fostered, and it should.
Yeah. So what are you bullish or excited about with regard to Zweig Group right now? I mean, with a lot of things going on. I mean, at the time that we're recording this, we're about to enter the summer. I know that, in the fall, we've got the big Elevate AEC conference. This year, it's taking place in Frisco, Texas. But I mean, what are you most excited about? What are the things that really move the needle for you on a regular basis that's happening at Zweig Group?
We are, a huge part of our time here in the next few months is gearing up for Elevate.
Right.
That takes a band of people to pull that off.
It's a coordinated effort.
Yeah. It's a lot of planning, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Right now it is, I feel like Zweig Group is in a bit of a rebirth right now. And I feel as though that I'm most excited. We have this has director of operations role is just recently came to fruition that we've been talking about for a while now. I'm excited to really continue. We have a cool culture at Zweig Group. We do. Yep. And really it's fostering our culture and our employees and keeping them energized, and really that's of highest reward for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I think it's, again, in an industry where a tiger doesn't change its stripes too often. The thing about Zweig Group is that its stripes have changed over time. And from the days when Mark started the company to when Fred White came on board to when the company got acquired and to when it was run into the ground to when it was resurrected like the Phoenix. And I mean, and all these iterations. And then Mark had the presence of mind to bring, somebody like Chad on, and then to Chad's operation of the company, and between he and Jamie Claire Kaiser and so many other really super smart people, the company is in good hands, and it's moving forward. It's not perfect, but no company is.
Right.
But I think it's important to recognize and acknowledge that, it certainly takes a village to move things along. And the village at Zweig Group is long, and the alumni program is very strong as well. So.
I agree. And, honestly, you say that, I'm honored to be a part of Zweig. I mean, I am, Randy. I am. I've worked with some pretty awesome people.
Yeah,
I have.
Absolutely.
That have impacted my life greatly.
Yeah. Well, and I certainly think that's one of the things that is really special about the design industry. Not to say that in other industries, you can't have that kind of impact happen to you in a workplace, but it doesn't always happen like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's a positive thing. And I know with all of the awards that Zweig gives out, we see snippets of that impact in all these different firms that we come in contact with. I know you guys just recently made the phone calls to
that's it, hot firm winners
to let
and
all
to
the
best
hot firm winners know.
Mm-hmm.
And actually just ran into somebody that was a hot firm winner, and they were so excited.
That's it, Randy. I mean, I can't tell you how gratifying it is when at the conference every year to see this faces we haven't seen since the last year, and how excited and pumped to get up on stage and accept their award. It means a lot.
It does.
I mean, they worked hard all year, their entire firm, to be awarded that, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
it is. It's a feel good feeling for sure.
It is.
Yeah,
that is the truth. That is definitely the truth. So, well, listen, as we land this plane and in close, what are your final thoughts about Zweig Group, and in particular about what the future holds for the company? What else are you excited about?
We have great people, for one, and very smart, capable people as well. Our M&A team is robust, and those guys kill it. And I'm excited about, our kind of reimagined whole marketing side of things,
Sure.
where we've really put in some good work and have really, it's a good platform for us. I'm excited about what's coming up for us. I am. Like I said, I feel like this is kind of a little bit of a rebirth for Zweig Group. And I think good, successful things are ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's exciting. Well, I'm glad that we finally had this chance to sit down. I think this is kind of like a full circle moment for me because, like I said, this podcast has been running since 2016. And, one of my goals has always been to get as many people from the company internally on the podcast to kind of talk about their experience. And, I had somebody reach out to me and said, oh, you should have Anna on and talk about the Grace is Our Way award and just to kind of get her perspective on things. And I'm glad that they reached out and asked me to do that because I think it's important that, we take time to hear from everybody within the company, maybe not just the actual leader or top tier leadership, although you are that. I mean, you're a director of operations, but I just think it's important for folks to get their flowers when they can still smell them.
That's right, Randy.
So,
well, it's an honor to be here, Randy, and you to invite me on, and I do appreciate you and enjoy you so very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Anna. Well, folks, if you need to reach out to Anna, you can connect with her at Zweig Group. The website address is zweiggroup.com. Anna, you want to give your email address in case people want to reach out to you?
Sure. It's afinley@zweiggroup.com.
Yeah, and that's Finley, Finley.
That's right.
Yeah, perfect. So, all right. Well, that's it. Well, folks, that's another episode of the Zweig Letter Podcast. To learn more about one of the oldest newsletters in the design industry, visit zweiggroup.com. You can read articles online, listen to this podcast, and sign up for a free subscription to the newsletter and have it delivered right into your email inbox every Monday morning. Sign up today. For more info about Zweig Group's advisory services or any Zweig Group publications, visit zweigroup.com. You can subscribe to the Zweig Letter podcast wherever you listen to it. And please, please, please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and we'll see you back here soon with another new episode of the Zweig Letter podcast. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Zweig Letter podcast. We hope that you can be part of elevating the industry and that you can apply our advice and information to your daily professional life. For a free digital subscription to the Zweig Letter, please visit thezweigletter.com/subscribe to gain more wisdom and inspiration, in addition to information about leadership, finance, HR, and marketing your firm. Subscribe today.